Field works to the back straightaway, and it's time to hang 'em high in Placerville. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time to sit back, relax, and enjoy 100 trips around the Placerville Speedway, because race fans, this is what you saved your lunch money for. To the green in the Hangtown 100.
Into 1 and 2, Brian. Corey Day going to get the initial lead as everyone fans out throughout this big starting field.
Corey Day, no stranger to victory lane. Of course, picking up a couple wins last year. Look out, we got him stacked up like downtown traffic over in turns 3 and 4. Red light's going to have to come on. We had one go upside down. Ooh, we got a gaggle of them here. We got Reinbold, we got Macedo, we got Grant. Looks like Denny is in that as well. Looks like Ken and McIntosh are starting to roll him back from the scene. And looks like one more of the KKM Kerbagajanian cars in that mix as well. Looks like maybe Gavin Miller. Kevin Thomas of the 14. Also down there, they're already getting him on the hook. Well, the car declined on the start of that one. We're going to try it again.
Yeah, great start there for Corey Day. All for naught, though.
Yeah, it's starting to talk about Corey, no stranger to victory lane here in California, especially with the USAC NOS Energy Drink Midget National Championship, as we'll get a look at the replay here on FloRacing. And going in, contact made between KTJ and the JBL number 67 on the entrance of turn number 3. All kinds of sideways.
Yeah, kind of got loose there, and then everybody else just stacks up in a chain reaction.
Yeah, Denny, once he got sideways, Kevin Thomas, just no time to react and try to clear there. It was Reinbold is the one that got tossed around there, ended up back upright. Get a look at another angle, and again, kind of a tough break for Kevin Thomas. Really had nowhere to go, and you saw he got cleared. Unfortunately, as he got back on the gas, there was another car there, and found that one.
Good shot there on the wireless cam. Some of the cars down there.
Caution lights go dark. We'll try it again. Car declined in the first attempt. We'll try it again. Swiping on by the NOS Energy start can. Here we go.
Into turn 1, Buddy Kofoid, the youngest ever 360 sprint car winner in Placerville history, will jump out to the lead of this one.
Boy, a good restart and a good attempt for Kofoid to get him to the race lead. Day going to fall to second. He was hoping that first one would have stuck. Dason Persley, Logan Seavey, Steven Snyder Jr., that was your top 5 on the way by. Snyder again in his Hangtown 100 debut, trying to make a statement here with RMS Racing.
Yeah, we got cars going high, low, and in the middle, a little bit choppy. Shane Golovic moved up to the top 5 now in that Matt Wood Racing 17W.
Onto the back straightaway and off into turns 3 and 4. Kofoid leading. Corey Day pursuing. Looks to the inside of the exit to number 4. Couldn't quite get there. Challenge for the 3rd spot. You got Dason Persley with Logan Seavey. Onto the back straightaway, advantage to the outside. The Avante Windows Doors entry. Seavey down around the bottom of the Vate truck at number 57, trying to grab a gear and grab the position. So far, still not able to do so. Yeah,
good battle there for 3rd. Right ahead of them, Corey Day has been stalking Buddy Kofoid every step of the way, and this time they'll be 5 laps down.
It is cool, it is damp, and there is steam absolutely pouring off of the rear tires on these machines as they work to both ends of the racetrack. Down to the inside once again, challenge for the 3rd spot. Logan Seavey trying to grab it away again. He'll be denied the advance, though, as it's going to be the 86 on the outside, holding on to the position right now. Shane Golovic in the meantime running in the 5th spot. Steven Snyder running in 6th. Larson, Copeland, Carrick, and Cale Coons right now your top 10.
The last time by, Buddy Kofoid got down to a 12.0 second lap. That's the fastest one we've seen. There's a car out of shape down the front straightaway. That was Snyder, it looked like.
Able to get it underneath him. Larson and the Roto-Rooter. HendrickCars.com, number 1K, going to set sights on him as they work onto the back straightaway and into turns 3 and 4. Laps clicking by. They come around to click off lap number 8. We have 92 remaining. And Buddy Kofoid starting to put some distance between himself and Corey Day. Just a couple laps ago it was car lengths. Now it's a half a straightaway.
Yeah, pretty incredible, Brian, as well. We talked about all the rain we had here on Thursday. This track is not all that choppy. It's pretty darn smooth right now.
Steven Snyder throwing a haymaker of a slide job that time into turns 1 and 2. Caught the grease and up the racetrack. Luckily, nobody was on the outside, but that's going to cost him 2 spots. He had gotten by the 17 at Golovic. Golovic able to get back by and brings the 1K of Kyle Larson with them. Larson going to move up into 6th. Snyder back to 7th. Copeland right there in that mix as well in the 27.
Well, not far away is lap traffic. That's where things get interesting here at Placerville. Corey Day less than half a second behind him in turn 3.
Into turns 3 and 4, looking at the back bumper, the back of the field, the sound gear, number 97, the first driver looking to go a lap down. That's Gavin Miller trying to get around the 14 and Kevin Thomas Jr. You got two races going on right now. They're battling for position in the back of the field. They're battling for the win at the front of the field. As Kofoid down around the bottom, had to get on the binders a little bit there. The lane was blocked, and that has allowed Corey Day and Dason Persley to really close in. Here comes Corey Day looking to the outside.
In a turn 3 battle for the lead. Dason Persley stalking them as well. It's Kofoid, Day, Persley to lap number 14.
Thought for a second Dave was going to stick to the top of 3 and 4. He does go to the top of 1 and 2. Bounces are hard off of the cushion. Gets it back underneath him and jets down the back straightaway. Persley now going to try to duck to his inside. Battle for the second spot. Battle for the lead. Here comes Corey Day to the inside. He's got it.
Yeah, Kofoid got a little bit tight off turn number 4. That's all Corey Day needed. Here comes Kofoid right back to his inside. They'll give the lead to Buddy.
Same song and dance, different partner that time. In 3 and 4, it was a 71 getting tight off on turn number 2. It was Corey Day. As Kofoid comes around to hold on to the race seat, Corey Day going to switch it back up to the high side. Here comes the Willie Kane, number 4, trying to get a run into turns 3 and 4. Everybody around the bottom. Corey Day says, watch this. He's going to come around and he'll take over the top spot once more.
Man, Corey Day upstairs, lap car right in the mix there. Dason Persley looking to drive around Buddy Kofoid as well in turn 3. Good stuff.
Off into turns 3 and 4, 3 wide in traffic. Look out, contact, and everybody continues on. A little bit more contact into turns 1 and 2, and now here comes Larson into the mix, along with the 57 of Logan Seavey. Larson looking for third down to the bottom side of the speedway. Remember, there's an open red anywhere from lap 40 to lap 60, and everybody trying to get in position here as your leader works to the back straightaway. Lap car between himself and now the 71 and the 1K.
Yeah, you said it, Brian. Kyle Larson, the driver, on the move. He'll drive by Kofoid in heavy-duty lap traffic. Click off lap number 20.
Kyle Larson hunting the race lead. Corey Day trying to hold him off here. Day down to the bottom. Larson going to go to the outside, trying to do Placerville proud here. Around to the front straightaway. Day's going to hold him off. Difference as the caution comes out was a little over a tenth of a second. The 19 coming to a stop at the back straightaway. Looking back through the field. Cale Drake in 11th, Jake Andriotti in 12th, Landon Brooks in 13th, Gunnar Setzer in 14th, Carson Macedo in 15th. And looks like retrieving a wheel cover over on the hill there in the entrance to turn number 3. Ferrucci in 16th, Vicento in 17th, Grant in 18th, McIntosh in 19th, and Sarale in 20th. 80 laps remain. Single file through the NOS Energy start can. Corey Day brings it back to speed.
Well, leaders are going to have a clearer track ahead. Kofoid took a momentary peek to the inside of Larson off at turn number 2. Here comes Buddy Kofoid.
Boy, he had a run. Larson going to take it downstairs and block the charge. The 71 bounces off of the inside berm, opens the door for the Avanti Windows Doors, number 86. Dason Persley able to clear for the third spot as Corey Day brings him onto the far side of the racetrack. 3-car battle for the 5th spot onto the back straightaway. Seavey's got company from Golovic and Snyder.
Yeah, fantastic drive for Snyder upstairs, but we're going to go yellow. Car sideways in 1 and 2.
Boy, 3 wide was taking the spot, and the caution comes out. Had his hand in the cookie jar, and Mom walked through the door.
Him and Joey are watching. Joey's the Petaluma Dwarf Car champion.
Last time I saw Ron, his son was running his first dwarf car race.
And now he's a champion driver, so yeah, incredible.
That is cool to hear. Back to green.
Corey Day hammers it into 1 and 2 over Larson, Persley, and Kofoid.
Onto the back straightaway, everybody dialing it up here, running middle to high side throughout the field. Up to the high side goes Corey Day, leads the way. Larson sitting that second spot. Remember, had to come in through the Elliott's Custom Trailers Kart semi-feature event. 11th to 2nd right now. Little bit of a bobble by a couple of drivers over turn number 2. Everybody gets it sorted out. Top 5 on a little bit of a breakaway right now as they work into turns 1 and 2.
That time by lap number 23, Corey Day just turned the fastest lap of the race. He is 0.4 of a second up on Kyle Larson.
12.046 last time on the HendrickCars.com number 1K, and that time Larson was the quickest on track at a 12.041. So not to be counted out yet. We have 75 laps remaining when they come across the stripe. This time Larson building momentum. Going to look to the inside. Corey Day going to fend him off as they work onto the far side of the racetrack.
Down the back straightaway, Larson all over Corey Day. Again, running a little lower line than Day, this time by lap number 26.
He showed his nose a couple of times, and I wondered if Corey Day was going to bite. He does. He goes down to that middle line. Larson up to the cushion. Gets her on the right rear. Gets a good bite to the back straightaway, but now they're going to run an identical line into turns 3 and 4. Entering low, then bring it up to the middle groove now. Into turns 1 and 2. Day takes that line away from Larson, and hard to tell if he's got a little bit of steam coming coming off of the engine or if that's all coming off of the Hoosiers.
Well, let's hope we can stay green all day. A little out of shape. Can Larson take advantage into turn number 1 on lap 28?
Yeah, it looks like maybe a little bit of smoke coming off of the engine of the number 4. Larson closing quickly now as they work into turns 3 and 4. And again, traffic in view for your leaders. Larson tries the outside. Thought he was going to grab the wall there for a second. Look out
down.
right in front of your leaders. Wow.
Woo.
Oh, my.
That's the start of that one.
That'll ruin a pair of Fruit of the Looms in a hurry. Sarale upside down, and man, Kevin Thomas Jr. again involved in a melee. He's having one of those nights where he goes around and finds everybody else's crash.
Pretty much, yep.
So if you're just joining us at the FloRacing broadcast, red flag conditions. We'll give you a replay of what happened over in turns 1 and 2. And going in, contact, right rear, left front, and Sarale gets upside down. Unfortunately, Kevin Thomas with nowhere to go. Looked like the 83 of Drake Edwards, the one coming in on the slide. He applied the right rear to the left front of the 32. Won a couple of drillers up at the Hyper Racing Tulsa Shootout earlier this year. Restarts in that second spot. They're all chasing Corey Day. Last time a Victory Lane was out here in California. The Gold Cup at Silver Dollar. See if he can hold on to pick up the Hangtown 100 as we get back after. Works onto the back straightaway. Everybody chasing and onto the backstretch in fine style.
Pretty clean restart there as Corey Day now clicks off lap number 30. That means there is 70 laps to go in the Hangtown 100.
So we are 10 laps away from that open red threshold. Again, anywhere between lap 40 and lap 60 is where we will have that competition open red. They can do anything but change a tire. Corey Day continues to lead. Larson pulling away here on the restart. Persley running in third. Kofoid, Seavey still your top 5. Everybody kind of working into that middle groove. A little bit too dirty on the high line right now. The bottom side, not quite the quickest way around, but again, 100 laps, this track is going to change a lot.
I was going to say fairly tame restart there as everyone kind of finds that middle they're liking. Of course, turn 1 is kind of in a problem area down low. We'll see if that even works in more as the race goes on.
A couple of drivers almost with a bit of a snafu over in turn number 4. Center in the 43 got tied. He lost a couple of spots towards the back of the field. He gathers it back up, and we stay green in this one. A quick look through your field. Corey Day coming up on traffic with a race lead. Kyle Larson, Dason Persley, Buddy Kofoid, Logan Seavey, your top 5. Steven Snyder Jr. running a 6, Colby Copeland in 7, Tanner Carrick, Cale Drake, Shane Golovic, your top 10. Cale Coons, Jake Andriotti, Landon Brooks, Justin Grant, Carson Macedo, still your top 15.
36 down. Larson has a run on Corey Day. They enter 1 and 2, 3/10 of a second apart down the backstretch.
Boy, the top was just a little bit too dirty to kind of play at the high side of turns 1 and 2 just a few laps ago, but that time Larson going in, putting the right rear right up on it here. They'll go more to the middle this time. He was able to close on the 4, but wasn't able to get the pounce on him as they work onto the back straightaway. Traffic dead ahead. Last time the caution saved him from it, and this time it's going to be the red.
Car in turn 2.
$97K. Cale Drake on his side over in turn number 2. They'll get the car back upright. See if we can get a look at the replay here on FloRacing and see just what happened to the Eibach number 97K. From the top shot, looked like he went in, just got her on the bike and got her upside down. We'll see if we can slow the frame rate down and look at it again. As he went in, caught that inside berm, all kinds of wrong.
That's what we were just talking about. That turn 1 area is where we had most of the water kind of pool, so that's been a problem area most of the day, and it's kind of hard to determine where the berm is and where the racetrack is with all the muck that was down there, but they've done a nice job to at least get it to where we can race on it.
So Corey Day brings it back to green. Larson, Persley, Kofoid, Seavey, Snyder, Copeland, Carrick, Drake, Golovic, your top 10. Field through the NOS Energy start can, back to green. 63 laps remain here in the Hangtown 100.
Good restart, it looks like, for Corey Day. Puts a few car lengths between himself and Kyle Larson, followed by Persley, Kofoid.
Oh, no! Round goes the 57.
Was running 5th, Brian.
watching him come through, and all of a sudden the back end coming around. Not sure if that was on his own or if he did have a little bit of help.
Well, he'll be fun to watch from the rear, though. We've seen Logan Seavey put on some incredible shows with the USAC National Midgets here the last few years.
Second in this event in 2023. He was runner-up in his prelim night as well. The third in 2021. 2022, a little bit of a rough go, 27th and 11th in 2019.
Yeah, one of those years we had the track, Scott had the track nice and slick all across the groove, and Logan was going 4 wheels above the fluff over there in turn 3, and we kind of call that now the Logan Seavey line around Placerville.
See if we can get a look at the replay here on FloRacing as they work into turns. Oh, yeah, he got all kinds of help to the back bumper. Like I said, by the time I saw it, he was already turned around. Able to refire to the back of the field. Single file through the NOS Energy start can. We're back underway.
Corey Day looking to hit another good restart over Larson. Persley, Kofoid now in 4th.
Kofoid trying to look to the inside, but again, the entrance of turn 1, like you said, that's where that water kind of pulled down there, making it very precarious. Slid up the racetrack. Thought Snyder was going to get a run on him there for a second. Wasn't able to do so. He rounds out your top 5. Carrick, Copeland, Golubic, Coons, and Landon Brooks right now your top 10.
That was a perfect word for turn 1, precarious right there, Brian, as Corey Day clicks off lap number 39, half a second lead over Larson.
Larson and Persley, looks like they're kind of searching around here. You see him kind of run the bottom, they run the middle, they go back to the top. That time Larson hooking a rut on the inside, shot him up the racetrack over in turns 3 and 4. Goes back to the middle groove here as they work onto the far side of the speedway. 60 laps to go. That means we're inside at any point. Over the next 20 laps, there could be an open competition red. As Day leads it, Larson, Persley, Kofoid, Snyder still your top 5. We've got them stacked up in turn number 2, but they keep it rolling. That was Golubic in the 17. Nearly brought the car to a stop. Everybody on the binders, but he holds on to it. And the other driver that was hooked onto him was Cale Coons in the 63. He's got problems in turns 1 and 2.
Car slowing in 1 and 2, and that is going to draw the yellow flag. Flagman Ed Ince going to wave the caution.
So Golubic had jumped a couple of positions up into 8th. So Corey Day set to bring us back to green. The Sander Engineering, Triple X Bob Worth, Willie Kano, number 4K. Back on the throttle, Larson. Going to hang right with them here as they work into turns 1 and 2. Both drivers enter to the middle. Larson a little bit wider on the exit, and Day's going to have the better run, but the challenge right now for the 3rd spot.
Yeah, Kyle Larson, 4 wheels above the fluff that time through 3 and 4. He's got a monster run on Corey Day.
Boy, Larson takes it upstairs, and he's got to run to the back straightaway. Kyle Larson's going to take over here in the Hangtown 100. Larson 11th to 1st, and the HendrickCars.com number 1. He'll come around to lead the way. Lap 44 is all his.
Yeah, that was a phenomenal 3 and 4. He turned way upstairs. He was trying that earlier, but we're going to go yellow.
So again, on the restart, must be fully completed. Larson restarting all the way up above the cushion, brings us back to green. Corey Day going to try and take advantage. Look to the inside, couldn't get there fast enough. Larson's going to lead Day right there, and now Dayson Persley looking for the 2nd spot as they work into turns 3 and 4. Larson down around the bottom, leads the way. Day still got company.
45 laps down. Yeah, Corey Day trying to fend off the challenges of the 86. Dayson Persley down the back straightaway. They enter turn number 3.
Larson going to try to pull away here. Behind him, you've got the Pengrove, California driver of Kofoid holding on to that 4th spot. We've got one slow, but able to keep it rolling. We stay green. Battle for 2nd, maybe. Persley still right there on Corey Day, but that time Corey was able to get a little bit of room between himself and the 86. 71 to Kofoid still running in 4th. Steven Snyder Jr. has been all over his back bumper for several laps. Now getting just a little bit of breathing room. Does the 71. The 4 still running in the 5th spot. Tanner Carrick running in 6th. Landon Brooks in 7th. Golubic, Grant, and Macedo, who had been running in 15th for most of this race, has made his way up into the top 10.
Well, this time by 49 laps in the record books. Lap traffic is not far off. However, Larson has a 1.3 second lead over Day.
Cross flag is going to be displayed here in the Hangtown 100. Larson coming around to lead lap number 50. Comes up on traffic, the 32, Sarale, the first driver in line to potentially get passed by the 1K. Larson going to go ahead and step up top, goes up over the cushion. We saw him doing that as early as hot laps. He was testing things out. Was able to get the run, now drops to the inside, throws the slide, he gets by the lap car. 1.189 seconds between himself and the 32, and just like that, the lap car going to take himself out of the equation as Corey Day continues to hold on to second.
Yeah, Dason Persley all over Day. However, he'll try and roll the middle on the inside of the number 4, Corey Day, entering turn number 3 once again.
It is amazing how well this track is holding up, considering how much moisture fell out here. And again, a tip of the cap to the entire track crew for giving us a surface like this here tonight. As Larson again comes up on slower traffic, they are bunny hopping right in front of him, the 27. Gets the car rolling straight as Larson's going to try to look to his outside, looks at the right rear, thinks better of it, going to fall back in line and try again in 3 and 4.
Yeah, Larson still keeping that lead right around 1 second over that tremendous race between Day and Persley for third to lap number 55.
Persley able to close back up on Corey Day. Day, boy, that car just about stepped out on him there in the middle of turns 1 and 2. The 71 of Buddy Kofoid trying to close in on them. Larson that time thought that line was going to go a little bit too wide. Gets the car back underneath him, and Corey Day brings it down to 0.6 of a second as Larson held up by traffic.
Man, yeah, that is as far upstairs as you can go. Kyle Larson, there's Corey Day picking the front end up off the ground.
Boy, Corey Day going in, and where we've seen several drivers go in and hit that rut, it just throws the car up the racetrack. He went in, kind of caught up with the left side tires, and just took the Hoosiers to the sky. Was able to hold on to that second spot that time. It kind of jostles him up a little bit as he had to get on the binders for a slower car. Opens the door for the 86. Persley trying to look to the inside. Corey Day somehow holds him off.
Buddy Kofoid, Corey Day's upside down.
Catches the left rear of the slower car. That pins him down and sends him flying.
Safety team quickly on the scene over there by the Willie Kane number 4 car, Corey Day.
Wow. So 58 laps completed. Safety crews on scene tending to Corey.
2, 1, horn.
And the horn's going to sound. This will be the open red. Again, this will be the competition open red. Getting a look at Kyle Larson. He's got the helmet off and kind of taking a breather here in that HendrickCars.com Roto-Rooter FloRacing number 1. So safety crews continuing to tend to Corey Day over in turns 3 and 4. And he is standing up out of the car. Ladies and gentlemen, give him a hand. So as Corey gets cleared from his number 4, let's go back down to Drake.
Catching up with our current race leader, Kyle Larson, aboard the HendrickCars.com 1K. You and Paul Silva having a lot of chat here under this red flag. What all has been discussed between you two?
Not much, honestly, but I just feel like the track's kind of getting ready to change here, so just need to make the right call as it changes. But yeah, traffic's going to be difficult, so if we get some long runs, I don't really know, we'll have to get your elbows up above the cushion probably, but no, my cars felt good to this point, and we got rolling there, early when we caught heavy traffic that first time, and then was surprised to get as good of a restart as I did on Corey, so if we can just keep it in front of him now.
Kyle Larson will restart at the head of the field here in the Hangtown 100 as him and Paul Silva and the gang go back to work on this 1K machine.
So an update for those of you just joining us on the FloRacing broadcast. Under the open competition red, Corey Day, who had been battling for the lead with Larson in traffic, catching a slower car and sending the number 4 up, flipping wildly through turns 3 and 4. Thankfully able to get out of the car. We'll get a look at the replay here on FloRacing, getting over the left side tire of Gavin Miller. And unfortunately, just going for an absolutely vicious ride. And able to get a couple of different angles on that man from the outside of turns 3 and 4.
And that's a midget flip at Placerville. It's amazing that, still run at Eldora and places like that are so fast in these cars.
And it's kind of it's a smaller track. Maybe they're not that bad, but, you're still carrying a lot of speed.
Yep. Now, Brian, 58 laps down, 42 to go, and we are coming to the green.
Single file through the NOS Energy Starcan. Kyle this time get a diamond it down to the bottom of the exit. Turn number 4, we're back underway.
Well, we'll see how this track reacts over the final 42 laps. Good restart for Larson, though, in the 1K.
Conservative line this time into turns 3 and 4. Persley trying to give chase. Kofoid right on his back bumper. Steven Snyder in 4th, Tanner Carrick in 5th, Golovic, Grant, Macedo, Setzer, Brooks, your top 10. Grant is one to keep an eye on. Remember, he was involved in that opening crash. Had to go to the intermittent finishing work area, and he has been creeping his way back forward. He's up to 7th, and right now he's got Macedo chasing him onto the back straightaway.
And a fantastic battle for the runner-up spot. Dason Persley and Buddy Kofoid are going at it tooth and nail as we click off lap number 61.
It's going to be Buddy taking the position away. Persley back to 3rd. Snyder now going to take a look at him with Tanner Carrick trying to close. He rounds out your top 5. Ooh, Persley grabbed the rut there in the exit of turn number 4. Kind of jockeyed the car around a little bit, got it back underneath him. Snyder not close enough to capitalize, but Larson steadily pulling away. 1.5 seconds last time at the start-finish line. He'll come around to click off lap number 63, and he has another 10 to his advantage. Kofoid a full straightaway back. That challenge for 3rd starting to shape up once again.
Yeah, Steven Snyder Jr. closing in on Dason Persley, looking to make something happen with him. Behind him, it's Carrick, Golovic, and Grant.
Still not able quite to get to the bottom of turn number 1. They're able to get down there on the exit turn number 2, but 3 and 4 is pretty much fair game top to bottom. Larson running that middle groove through turns 1 and 2. We've seen him move the groove around over in turns 3 and 4 as he'll go in, and he's going to duck it down to the middle this time. Of course, we've seen him go all the way up above the cushion, down to the berm, and right now kind of settling into that middle line as he's going to start to come up on traffic.
And right in front of him, it's a Hornet's Nest, but we have a car slowing off a 1 and 2. Will they get off the track? That's
Reinbold in the 19. He is off the track. He is still rolling. So we'll see if we can keep it green and keep it going here. We got 33 laps to go. Reinbold, he's going to make it to the ramp. So he will clear, and we'll keep her green into traffic. Larson going to try to step up top and get a run here. 1.6 seconds a couple laps ago. It's down to 1.1, so traffic does hold him up for just a minute, but not enough for Kofoid to get there and do anything.
Well, that time Larson will now try and float the middle down to lap number 69, but we'll see if he goes right back upstairs next time around.
Bringing it in about the same distance here. Kofoid not able to gain anymore. Larson once again going to go up above the cushion in turns 3 and 4. Pins the right rear down, gets up on Cale Coons.
Upside down at 1 and 2. Big
Finally
time.
coming to a stop over against the tires. Look out.
And there's a lot of water out in that area, too.
That is Santino Ferrucci getting upside down over in turn number 1. Ferrucci had been running in the 15th spot, so in a really kind of tough position up there. Like you said, there was a lot of water sitting up there, so they're having to be very careful getting Santino out of the car, but he is on his feet, race fans. Santino Ferrucci is okay.
That's quite the distance out there, too, Brian. If you get a chance to, fan gets to check it out after the races, that's way over there.
And, oh my, Carson Macedo, a flat right rear tire. So they are getting the hook over to him. They'll get him up into the Indy Metal finishing work area. Tough break for the 99 AU, up into 8th after starting 15th.
So that moves Gunnar Setzer now up to 8th from 23rd.
Setzer in his first appearance here at Placerville, as I believe Drake has an update.
Santino Ferrucci had to get a little bit out of the race car in a new fashion that you probably didn't want to tonight here at the Placerville Speedway. What happened down here with you in turn number 1?
Yeah, a couple laps earlier, I just made a mistake and clipped the concrete wall, but everything seemed fine with the car, and I didn't feel anything wrong, and I just came into one, and I don't know if I caught something, but it felt like I hit something underneath the car, and it just launched it. So, yeah, it was a good run up till then, getting a lot of laps here at Placerville, so enjoying my time out in California up till now.
Tough break for Santino Ferrucci. We always appreciate when somebody in another high-level form of racing comes to play with us here at USAC. Of course, Santino, a regular in the NTT IndyCar Series, and has one of the best records when it comes to the Indianapolis 500-mile race. In his 7 starts, he's finished in the top 10 all 7 times. And unfortunately, Midget Racing, Brian and Gary, has not been kind to him recently.
But in the meantime, I believe we have a replay here on FloRacing. Get a look at what happened going in, and man, the car just suddenly turning right on him.
Yeah,
So
entered
said,
right up there.
Yeah, when he said it felt like, something kind of launching him there, have to wonder if something just broke and kind of pole vaulted him there.
After that, he was along for the ride.
So a tough break for the driver, the number 16. Larson's going to bring us back to green.
And he goes right back upstairs.
Ooh,
Buddy
man.
Kofoid trying to stay to his inside, though. They'll battle in turn 1.
Yeah, Kofoid, he had to stay behind Larson past the NOS Energy Star Can, and officials weren't too thrilled with that one. Again, they must stay in line.
We've seen that a couple times in our weekly racing where we've had some issues with that.
So again, in line, nose to tail.
No passing.
Yeah, Kofoid, he dropped low, and that's going to cost him. It docks him 1 here.
Ooh.
So move Persley up into second. So again, single file through the NOS Energy Start Can.
That time Larson certainly brought it down a little lower on the speedway as he leads. Persley, Kofoid, and Steven Snyder battle for 5th, though.
Kind of got everybody jockeyed up there because he was kind of like jumping off of a sidewalk there for a second. Everybody was able to do good and keep it in line. But now Dason Persley going to try to set sights on Larson here as they work onto the back straightway. A couple of battles going on for the 5th spot as they work onto the back stretch. Got the 17W, Shane Galloway coming after Tanner Carrick. Tried the high side of 1 and 2, down to the bottom of 3 and 4. And Carrick right through the middle, able to block all charges here as they work onto the back straightway. Leaders coming around to the front side of the speedway. Larson, Persley in tow. Then you've got Kofoid running in 3rd. Snyder running in 4th. Carrick still running in your top 5.
73 laps down, half a second is the lead for Larson. Persley is not letting him get away up front, this time by 74 down.
See if we can make it to traffic and see if that tells a different tale at the end of this one as Larson leads the way, trying to make it 30 career wins with the USAC NOS Energy during Midget National Championship. Problems. Oh, my. The 97K and the 99 AU.
So go back to lap 74, still 26 to go.
Here we go, set to try it again. Again, Larson bringing them all the way around the top here. They come around to the front straightway. Yellow again.
Yeah, that makes it kind of tricky when Larson goes way upstairs, having everybody get woed up.
So that time, Persley was the one that got out of line, and Kofoid going to go right back to second. Remember, Larson can go anywhere he wants to fire. He can go to the top, he can go to the bottom, he can diamond, he can reverse diamond, but you have to stay in his tire tracks.
So you got to follow.
And that's the strategy. You're trying to kind of throw
That
everybody
makes
else's
sense.
momentum off so they can't get a run going into 1 and 2.
That's better.
He's going to take everybody above the cushion here in the restart. Everybody follows, and here we go.
We'll see if anybody else kind of takes a liking to that line now here, still with 26 laps remaining.
Everybody's going to vacate the line and go down to the middle groove here as they come through turns 3 and 4. I say that one driver's going top side mid-pack. Who is that? That is I believe the 57W. Yeah, it is. He's working the high line, trying to get by the 71K right now.
Yeah, Landon Brooks trying to venture upstairs right behind that 71 here on lap number 76.
Kevin Thomas Jr. into that mix as well as they work through turns at 3 and 4. KTJ up top, the 57 down low. Landon Brooks able to get the advantage here as your leader. Kyle Larson pulls it out to just shy of 0.8 of a second last time. Kofoid still running in that second spot. In the meantime, Steven Snyder Jr. coming around to grab the 3rd spot. Dason Persley back to 4. Tanner Carrick still your top 5. Golubic running in 6. Grant in 7. Setzer, McIntosh, and KTJ. Right now your top 10. Slide job. Got it. The 86 back into 3rd. Short slid the 4 off the exit turn number 4, but Snyder with a great run onto the back straightaway. Has to challenge for the 3rd spot here as they work into turns 3 and 4. Back up top goes the 86. Grabs the cushion. He holds on to it.
Tanner Carrick right there waiting for something to happen between those two cars. Looks like Persley has solidified the 3rd spot ahead of Snyder and Carrick.
Tanner Carrick sitting there like a dog at a sausage stand, just hoping something was going to drop into his lap. Unfortunately, not the case. So he rides in that 5th spot here. Golubic a distant 6. Attrition making it take just a little bit longer to get to traffic, but it's starting to come into view. Larson 18 laps away in this one. Kofoid trailing 1.159 seconds. Snyder losing ground to the 86 of Persley. He rides in that 4th spot. Carrick trying to build a run on him in the Toyota number 98. Golubic, Grant, Setzer, Brooks, McIntosh. Right now your top 10. Here comes Setzer looking down to the inside of the 43. That'll be the fight for the 9th position right now. Not able to get the run that time at the backside of the speedway as Cannon McIntosh running a little bit of an expo line there to the inside of 3 and 4.
Yeah, Steven Snyder kind of got a little bit low in turn number 1. Tanner Carrick is coming after him now here with 15 to go.
Larson's added a couple of more tenths to his advantage. Kofoid trying everything he can to reel in the one here as they work around to the front straightaway. That time Larson kind of having to wait on the car onto the front straightaway. Lost a tenth of a second here. Dason Persley, in the meantime, trying to close in to see if he can battle for that second spot. Kyle backing her up to the cushion. Kofoid bringing it off of the cushion and down to the middle there on the front straightaway. Still 1.2 seconds, kind of matching speed right now with Larson as they work over into turns 3 and 4. Coming around this time, it'll be 12 to go.
Yeah, everyone kind of just pacing themselves right now to lap number 88. We'll check the gap that time. It is 1.2 seconds, still close for second.
Yeah, it's been 1.2 seconds the last 3 laps here, but in the meantime, Dason Persley is reeling in to try to get back up to that second spot. Larson by once more, still sitting at 1.2 seconds. So right now they are very equally matched here as it's going to be a 10-lap dash to the finish this time by.
Yeah, turn 1 and 2 is definitely changing throughout the course of this 100-lap race. We'll see if that plays into things as we wind our way down.
Here comes the 86 of Persley onto the back bumper of the 71. He's going to throw the slide into 3, up across the racetrack, bumper to bumper contact. Everybody gets on the binders, but it will be Dason Persley coming around. That contact, though, is going to hand some breathing room to Kyle Larson from 1.1 to 1.5 seconds now as he is catching the back of the field in a hurry. Can we stay green and work into traffic? 8 laps remain in this one.
Can Dason Persley and Buddy Kofoid track down Kyle Larson up front this time by? There'll be 7 to go.
Boy, and he's got a gaggle of cars battling right in front of him here as they work into turns 1 and 2 from 1.5 down to 0.7 of a second. Dason Persley closing. Kyle Larson's about to have company here as they work into turns 3 and 4. Caution.
The dreaded
Yet
caution.
Again.
Is that Tanner Carrick in the
It
98?
is.
Yep.
Man, Carrick, who had been running up in the top 5. Tough break. But yeah, you're right. It does have that kind of bounder feel to it.
The Breaking Bad motorhome kind of.
Got the Velvet Elvis hanging on the wall. Set to go back to green. It's a heat race to go. 8 laps. Larson turns it off of the curb and brings it back to green.
And a 1 and 2 battle for third. Steven Snyder looking to the inside of Buddy Kofoid. Nothing happening there, though.
Persley going to do everything he can to keep pace with the 1K. He's doing it right now. Closes back in. He lost some ground at the restart. Good line through 3 and 4. Goes up to the cushion in 1 and 2. Challenge for the lead, maybe. Here comes the 86 up on to within a couple of car lengths of the 1K. Now to his back bumper around to the front straightaway. Can he make a move into turns 1 and 2? He does. Slide job for the lead. Contact and Larson's upside down. Dason Persley tried for the slide. He hit the slick and into the 1. Oh, my. And a flock of birds rolls to the flag stand. And Larson is out of his number 1K. He walks away. And he is up at the top of turn number 2. Giving the thumbs up to Dason Persley. My, oh my. We'll get a look at the replay here. Persley had the run, tried the inside of 1, and I thought initially he caught the slick. We'll look back at that. It looked like he actually caught that inside berm.
Well, we just talked about how difficult it is to kind of determine where it is.
Yeah, right there he goes in. He did.
Yep.
He kind of caught that inside berm. He gets the slick, and up the track he goes.
Yep. Talked about that was where all the water collected, so it certainly looks totally different than it normally does here at Placerville.
Yeah, we talked about it, and that has been, and a lot of drivers have gone in and found that.
Yep.
And problems for Kofoid. He's up in the work area. I'm telling you, the birds are flying south, they're flying north, but they're all in the grandstands.
And they're all exiting the stands as well, looks like.
And we've got a development of the 86. The right rear shock is bent, broken, and dangling. So he doesn't walk out of that unscathed. 5 laps to go. Persley with only 3 shocks. The right rear. It's connected low, but not high.
And on this kind of track, you might kind of need that.
Yeah, so things could get interesting here. Snyder lines up in second. Golubic in third. Here we go. 5 to go.
Dason Persley going to enter through the middle in 1 and 2. Snyder kind of hop, skips, and jumps with Golubic behind him.
You know, Dason, he knows there's something wrong in the right rear. He's really trying to be careful on his entry, not get up and slam that cushion. So far, he's working for him. The Avanti Windows Doors number 86 leads the way. Snyder right there watching, looking for an angle to try to get a run. He's going to look to the inside of 3. Can't bring the momentum around to the exit of turn number 4. Shane Golubic watching all this go down in front of him. And it's Landon Brooks and it's Justin Grant up into the 5th spot. Grant up into 5th. Copeland in 6th. McIntosh, Setzer, KTJ, and Logan Seavey, your top 10. 2 laps remain. Dason Persley trying to keep the wins going here with the USAC NOS Energy during Midget National Championship. Comes around to the wave of the white flag and 1 to go.
Persley through 1 and 2, looking good. Brian Holbert bring us home down the back straightaway.
Off into turns 3 and 4. The right rear shock plays nothing into this one. Checkered flag is out. Dason Persley wins the Hangtown 100. Steven Snyder Jr. had the run but comes up shy. Shane Golubic, Landon Brooks, and Justin Grant comes back to round out your top 5. Even with the right rear shock gone, he was able to keep her between the paint. And he'll pocket $20,000. The driver to Locust Grove, Oklahoma, the Avanti Windows and Doors, pristineauction.com, NOS Energy, CB Industries, number 86. Race fans, give him a hand, Dason Persley. Okay, we do ask that you do not throw anything over the fence. You can voice your displeasure, but do not throw anything. Please. And he's going to get the hardware and come around. Drake's going to get a word with our winner.
Dason Persley collects $20,000 here at the 2025 Hangtown 100. But Dason, you know I have to ask, what happened between you and Kyle Larson in turn number 1?
Yeah, I mean, I just hit the grease. I felt like I had a run on him, and I don't even want to win the race like that. It sounds like I gained a whole bunch of friends here, but no, I mean, I don't want to win the race like that. I don't think I did that intentional, but they seem to think so. But no, I mean, I apologize to Kyle and them. I mean, I know that it's not how I want to race, and I know that's not how he wants to be raced. So, yeah, I mean, it just sucks. I don't even want to celebrate this. I felt like I was, you know, being able to race with him and Corey both early on, and I mean, I don't want to race like that at all. So, yeah, I mean, I just hate it. I feel like I was, you know, just trying super hard. You only get a couple of times where you get to race and, you know, almost beat Kyle. And, yeah, I just messed up down there and hit the grease and pushed that little bit. And then, you know, off he went on my right rear. So, just hate it.
Will there have to be a conversation between you and Kyle after this, or are you just going to kind of leave it as is at the moment?
No, I mean, I definitely want to go talk to Kyle. I mean, I know he's not going to be very appreciative or anything of me right now, and that's absolutely understandable. And I'll go down there and, you know, take my ass shoeing and continue on and try to get better as a race car driver and everything. But like I said, and I'll say it forever, I don't want to race anybody like that.
Dason Persley collects $20,000 here at the Hangtown 100, but it's not without some controversy. We'll get it over to Genevieve Malone with second place Steven Snyder.
A chaotic finish for tonight. Steven Snyder Jr. taking that second place finish. Steven, you're matching second Kokomo earlier this year. Just put into words how chaotic this evening was.
You know, it's a 100-lap race. It's just part of it, really. it kind of sucks, you know, finishing second. With him breaking a right rear shock, I thought I'd be able to have a better chance, but he was just smart about it and just kept his momentum up. It sucks, but we'll come back to Plaza and try to get one spot better.
That is Steven Snyder Jr. taking second as a rookie. Send it over to Drake with third.
Shane Golubic, one of the favorites here at Placerville Speedway, another year and another tough loss. Of course, this one coming at the very end, but you had to overcome a lot of adversity in this race, too. You were telling me you didn't have brakes for most of the race on a very technical and tricky racetrack. How were you able to manage that?
Yeah, it wasn't fun. I think the last 20 laps there, muffler fell off of this car here, blew the floor pan up into the brake pedal, and so, it's tough. No brakes, rest of that deal. I kind of just figured I'd just run it as hard as I could and run the top and try and make it work. But yeah, tried to be there at the end. Man, these 100-lap midget races are brutal at the beginning. These guys just don't quite understand it's 100 laps, and try to be there at the end. Our pace was really slow at the beginning. I needed to probably pick that up a little, but I wanted to be here at the end, and I think we were just unfortunate that somebody else's car falls apart and knocks our car, to where we got no brakes, and it is what it is. My NOS Energy car was fast. My guys worked their tails off having 3 cars. We got all 3 in the show. I think Landon's hard charger. Colby was running good. Really proud of the NOS Energy guys, and really happy to be here. Scott, hats off. Track was good. Eventually it did kind of get slick and nice and tricky. So love coming to Placerville. Thank all you guys for coming out. And you guys got to remember when you come to a midget race, it's like WWE. You can't be booing this guy too hard. I mean, that's kind of the standard deal. They run really, really hard. So thank you guys all for coming out. Look forward to next year, I guess.
Shane Golubic battered and bruised. Also worth noting, too, on this race car, the left side Nerf bar knocked in pretty well, too. So he had to deal with that and no brakes. He walks away with the 3rd place finish. Over to Genevieve.
Tonight's Rod End Supply hard charger going to go to Landon Brooks. Now, an ever-evolving track for tonight. How much of this was adjusting and really making it through those 100 laps to get those passes?
Yeah, I was just trying to buy my time there early. It was a long race, so I just bit my time there and kept my nose clean, tried to stay out of all the wrecks, and then felt like that last half I was able to get above the curb and really get going and make a little bit more speed. It was, it was really fast. It was tough to pass, so kind of had to change it up there, and it worked out. So happy with our speed. Wish I would have qualified better and started up farther, but we'll move on to Plaza and build from here.
We had a good car, a good race going, and Dason just must have built a run on the cushion behind me, and surprised me on entry to 1, and then you hit the grease, and I kind of had nowhere to go. So yeah, just a bummer, but I get it, just because my entry was closed off, so he was gonna have to pull the trigger right there, and oh well, I guess. I wish it wouldn't happen, and I'm sure he wishes it wouldn't happen too.
You wanted to put on a great race for the fans and had a sellout crowd. The rain held off, and everybody had a great time until the very end.
Yeah, no, it was an awesome night. It was good to start early like that. Maybe we could start early like that even if the weather's great. So the crowd was awesome. It was great to see them all show up here, and get home early. Everybody could watch from the East Coast at a decent time too. So yeah, the crowd was great. It was huge, and hopefully it'll stay that way.